So, um, again, I mentioned it in the last video. I was talking to the void, but I'm, playing this chess league thing, and it's been 1 week, so we've met twice. We meet Tuesdays and Saturdays, and by we, I say we like, I don't know, it feels weird to say we, but I've been going, and it's been Tuesdays after work, Saturdays in the afternoon, and Tuesday was interesting because I was playing against this one guy. I don't know how much I'm gonna be using names. Well, I'll be using names here. So I was playing this one guy. I think his name was Micah, something like that. I didn't know that he was not playing in the league. Like, he was there, but he wasn't playing in the league. So when I was playing him, I thought we were playing league games, but then it wasn't. So I was like, oh, oops. So that was a little unfortunate because I've been fiending to play those league games, the chess league games, not League of Legends games. I ended that night playing against Anthony, who's kind of like running the whole league. The fun fact with Anthony is that we played a bunch of games 2 months ago. Me and my girlfriend were checking out the place for the very first time, and I randomly found there was a board game cafe in this location. They did chess twice a week, so I was like, oh. So I checked it out this one random Saturday in July, and we just played a whole bunch of games, just casually, different formats, whatever. So we played a bunch of games, and I knew what he played. I mean, it was a great time, first and foremost, right? I had a blast, like, playing on an actual board against someone that I'm not familiar with. And then at the end of that meeting 2 months ago, he was like, hey, we're thinking about doing some kind of league thing where, like, people will play each other for, like, a leaderboard. Are you interested? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm fucking interested. Well, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, yeah, that sounds actually really fun. I'd love to do that. Please keep me updated. We added each other on Discord, and it wasn't until like the end of August where he was like, hey, we're doing that chess league thing. Are you still interested? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm interested. Let's go. So we had played a bunch before. I knew what he played, so I was preparing for this month when inevitably I would play him again. And I did. I did play him in another league game on Saturday. But oh yeah, also on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, we played one last game before they were like done for the night, and it was such a tense game the entire time. But unfortunately, I lost to a kingside attack, and I just miscalculated. I thought a defensive tactic worked, but it didn't, and then he eventually won the game. I tried to trick him at the very, very end when I was pretty much losing the game no matter what, but he didn't fall for it, and then I lost. So that was Tuesday, and between Tuesday and Saturday, I was just like, it was a good time, don't get me wrong, but there's that competitor in me that's just like salty, where I'm like, I beat this guy so many times in July, and then I can't believe I lost. Like, this is we played an opening that I'm so familiar with, and he plays this certain way, and I was supposed to be ready for it, but then I just messed it up at the very end. Unfortunately, we didn't record any of the games, but that was Tuesday. That was Tuesday night. But again, great time. I enjoyed the vibes. Everyone was chill, polite, and we were all just yapping about life and chess and whatever. So fast forward to Saturday, and we're playing. I start off by playing against this one guy, Toni. And in the meantime, Anthony, who I've been just talking about, he's been trying to set up this weird, like, machine learning open source like camera thing where you just record a chessboard and it's supposed to convert what it sees into moves so that you can, and then it'll spit out like a text file with all the moves, and you can throw it into like some other chess program website thing to have it load the whole game basically. So Saturday, me and Tony played. We played a bunch of games casually, and then we decided, okay, let's do like 1 or 2 league games. So I'm playing against Tony. And let me just preface this whole blabbering, this whole analysis. I'm not that good at chess, okay? My current rapid rating is somewhere in 1400s. Okay, my last game, I ended up at 1414, okay, online. I'm not good at chess. I'm not that good at chess, okay? Like, I'm not going to pretend like I know deeply about a whole bunch of things and whatever. I just know basic stuff. Somewhat deeply. Jeez. All right, so to go back here, when they take right away as black, you basically don't feel scared at all. You're just not concerned. You have very easy development. Your knights can come out to their natural squares. Your bishop will come out, no problem. You play e6 to solidify your center. You castle, life goes on. Like nothing. When they exchange on d4 or d5, it's chill, super chill. So I'm blowing past these moves. This check is never scary because you can play knight c6, and if they trade, this is kind of what you want because white is going to play d4 anyway to contest the center, but then you'll have c5 to contest their contesting. But simple development. So there's d4. I break apart this pin on my queen. It's a little passive, but I like this a lot because I don't have to worry about, I want to move my knight here, for example, for whatever reason in the future. I don't have to worry about my queen hanging randomly. And I can also move my queen to b6, a very common thing in the Caro-Kann. When the dark squared bishop comes to like g4 or g5 or f4, you can play queen b6 and target the pawn that it was defending. It's a common idea in this opening. So he plays queen d3. I think he wanted to get out of this pin, which is fine, right? You don't want to play g takes f3 because that kind of like makes your king a little exposed. But that said, I'm gonna take this in like 90% of the Caro-Kann games. I want to take this knight because it removes a defender of this d4 pawn, and the whole idea around this opening is that you want to pressure the d4 pawn and the e5 pawn if there is one there, which in other lines there is, but not in this case. So I take, he takes. So now he's got 2 attackers on this knight, right? But the whole point of bishop e7, not only to break the pin, is that eventually when we trade on f3, which I am probably going to do if you let me, now I don't have to worry about this knight, right? Because if we go back, for example, if I played bishop here, right, sure, he can take and take, and my queen lands on f3, I don't care, but if we do this, if we do it this way, right, and I just play a random move, not caring, now he can do this, and now the g file is open, which you could argue is a benefit to me because I get this open file for my rook. Since I haven't committed my king here, I can easily just run my king the other way and have an open g file and try to double up my rooks. So something like, I don't know. Again, don't worry about the actual moves I'm making. The whole point is, right, now I have this kind of pressure, which might not be enough at the end of the day, but you can see it's starting to get scary for black, right? You might want to defend like this, but then I'll play h5, h4 to pressure this pawn, and so I guess it's not the worst thing in the world, but I like really solid structures with my pawns, so I didn't play bishop e7. Skipping ahead, he plays rook a e1. I didn't really know what he was trying to go for here. He's also blocking in his other rook, right? Because this rook is kind of just stuck behind this pawn now. If you magically got rid of this pawn, then it's like, oh, you feel pretty good, but such is life. I play rook b8, threatening this pawn, g3, or sorry, b3, queen b6. So I mentioned that plan earlier where you're kind of contesting this open file. Obviously, I can't take this pawn because I'm going to lose a queen for it, but it puts pressure on d4. That's the other idea of queen b6. Now you might be wondering, oh, but then you can, oops. Well, you don't want to take, obviously, here. Like, yeah, you're in my structure, but I don't care if you're going to sack your queen for it. And I moved my queen now because my bishop is on e7, and I can take this way. So continuing on, plays queen d3. I play rook e7, or sorry, rook e8, intending to eventually move my knight somewhere. It wasn't going to be here since his knight is still there, but I was thinking maybe like I can do here and play c5. Maybe he'll trade and get tempo, and we keep playing chess. But he plays knight a4, which is fine. Queen c7, because my queen's attacked. He trades my knight, which I thought was kind of strange, because what ends up happening now is that I have even more pressure on d4. And the whole point of my opening is to pressure d4, pressure this pawn, which usually has something in front of it, but because we played the exchange in the very beginning, he doesn't have this e-pawn. So that makes knight f3, and eventually bishop takes f3 possible. Yeah, rook e3. I thought he was trying to double up the rooks into this, but I also thought that was kind of strange because you're never actually gonna do anything here unless you play f4, f5. But if you play f4, f5, I'll play g6. So here I play rook fc8. I didn't really know what to do in this position. I know I wanted to play c5, but it was kind of hard with this knight there, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring my bishop back to do that. But eventually I do decide to do so. So again, he doubles his rooks, but he's staring into nothing, so that was strange. And then he played c4, which threw me for a loop. In my mind, I didn't want to take, because then I have this pawn that's isolated by itself. And then I thought, okay, if I'm not taking, what am I going to do about this, right? And obviously I was going to leave it. Well, not obviously, but I was going to leave it. But I remembered in other Caro-Kann positions, you want to play c5 when they play c4. But I think that line of thinking is wrong. I think that's for other openings, like some other d4 openings, and in a different variation where there are still minor pieces around. So basically, I thought c4 was a good idea. It turns out it's not. White's slightly better, but not by any meaningful amount at, not a titled player, let alone above 2,000 or 1,500 or whatever. So I played c4. C5. He takes with the knight. I take back. We trade. And then he plays rook h3. So I thought rook h3 was kind of strange because, yeah, you get this attack here, but it's so easy to stop, and it's not easy to break because you don't have minor pieces to sacrifice if you want to break apart my pawns, and it's hard to move your pawns forward. It takes way too long. I'm going to definitely get something going on the other side of the board in response. So I was like, okay, rook h3, I'll just block the queen's access to the h7 square, and we'll keep playing chess. And then he plays rook e4, or rook e5. I'm like, oh, you really want to come down here. I didn't think this was a threat still. I figured I can always, if you actually do come here, I can just run away. So it'd be like, let's just say I don't care, right? I could always just do something like this. Apparently that's losing. Well, that's pretty bad, actually. Okay. I thought I could just run away, but computer says that is a terrible idea. You should not. Okay, good to know. But in the game, I actually played rook c7 or queen c7. I didn't know what I was doing with this queen, and I figured maybe I want to defend my 7th rank by putting the queen there, and maybe I could play something like f6 to kick his rook away. I can't do it now, obviously, because this pawn would hang, but it does attack the rook as well. So I'm asking him, what are you doing with this? So he plays f4 to defend it because he still wants to go to here. I'm like, okay, fine. I start looking for counterplay on the queen side, so I play DC. He's really committed to this attack by playing queen g3, and I was looking at it and I thought, you still don't have an attack. Rook h5, right? I'll show you. Rook h5. Okay, you get this pin, so I can't take, but I could also play something like pawn f6. Oh no, you take here. Quite interesting. I play f5. It's a little better. Okay. At any rate, I thought, okay, that's fine. I can just like push my pawn to defend this, and everything is fine. Let's not go back. So let's go back. Queen. So he played queen b3. I take. I didn't believe in his attack, right? My pawn's like, if he's gonna attack me, he's gonna end up sacrificing something probably, to which I would be up a piece, but I would have to run away. And I figured I probably can run away, and because this board is so open here, like there's just nothing going on here, I can probably finagle some kind of counterplay like queen b6 or something in the back rank. So he's committed to his plan, rook h5, and this was mate in 5 apparently. I didn't see it was mate in 5. I just saw in the game, when I played that, I was thinking, okay, I thought, okay, rook, queen b6, queen f, well, you don't want to play queen f2 because then your queen no longer pins the pawn to my king. So for example, like this, I can actually take your rook now because your queen is no longer here to prevent this capture. I could also, instead of doing that, I could just take right away first. Apparently there's a mate in 1 here with rook c1 because it's pinned. I didn't even notice that for some reason, but I figured, okay, queen there, I'm totally down to trade. I'm up a rook, right? And I have this passed pawn, which, yeah, you can take, but I can very easily win this pawn. And I'm going to win the game up, up a full rook, missing the whole fact that I could actually just checkmate him, but okay. So he played queen f2. He did end up blocking, and of course I missed the mate in 1 because I'm a terrible chess player. And I take, he takes, I give him a check. And the reason I gave him a check was because I figured I can take here and here. So I would take his rook first, and then I would eventually just get either a rook on b3. So for example, take, check, win his other rook, or trade his other rook, and I am just totally like no shot, I'm winning, or no chance that I lose, you know what I mean. Rook f3, and then the other idea was I'm threatening this pawn as well, which allows the rook over here to support this pawn to just go, and I'm gonna get another queen. So the game continues. Rook h5, I take. He tries to defend the promotion, but I protect the back rank. He takes a pawn, I don't care, I make a queen. He has to trade it off, and now I'm up 2 rooks, and eventually I find checkmate, eventually. So that was the game we played in the league game. It was a pretty fun game, very tense in the early middle game. Or I would say it was tense in the middle game, trying to find out what the plan was, but the opening, I was just I was not sweating one little bit. The exchange, Caro-Kann is very, well, this isn't technically the exchange, but when white exchanges on d4, it's like not really a threat to black. So that was the game. I missed mate in 1, as I am, I totally just missed the checkmate in 1 move right here. But, things happen. We all miss things, we all make mistakes, and it's easy when a computer tells you made a mistake, but when you're actually sitting in front of a board, how are you supposed to figure that out, right? I mean, you're supposed to, you could see this, it's not hard, but that's how this game went. We did play 2 other games. Those are just casual games. I'll probably skip going over these. But yeah, that's how the game went. And After this game, we swapped out. I played against this guy, Jack. Yes, I played against Jack first, and then I hadn't seen him before. At least I hadn't seen him on Tuesday, so I wasn't sure what he played. I mean, I wasn't sure what anyone played besides Anthony. But yeah, I played against him, and I'm gonna open a new board here. I'm gonna try to remember how the game went, because there's one really funny part in the beginning that we were both just like, wow, how did we? Okay, that's crazy. So the game, I was playing white, and it went e4, d5. So there's a Scandinavian. I take on d5. He plays queen takes d5. I played knight c3 to attack his queen. I played, and he played queen a5, and this is preparation. So like, I know this next move, b4. And I won't go over exactly how the game went because I don't actually remember. But I do remember he took. I played this to attack his queen. It's protected by my knight. He went back here, and I forgot completely what I was supposed to do. I just completely blanked. I was like, what's my next move here? Now, I have a whole document that's what I'm supposed to know. Like, it lists out what I'm supposed to know and how to play these, like, the different ways that they could play. I just totally forgot. Totally forgot my prep, like my notes, and I immediately lost the game. Well, I immediately made a big mistake. But the long story short is I played d4, and I immediately hung my knight. I think it was something like this. I think it went like this, right? So when I played d4 immediately, I just totally forgot that my knight was free to take. But he missed it too, which is hilarious in retrospect. Right? He played this to add another attacker, but he didn't realize he could just take it right away. So that was really... I got super lucky there. I could have just lost the game in 6 moves, but I didn't, somehow. So in order to not totally lose the knight for free, I took his bishop with my rook. And it's a bad exchange for me, but it's better than losing the knight for free. So I played this, and then the game continued. I don't remember the exact moves, but it went, the game kept going. Eventually we got to a position, it was something like this. And I was looking at this, I'm like, I think I have a sacrifice here. And mind you, again, don't pay attention to the evaluation or the moves. But I knew I was behind the entire game, so I was just like, all right, we're just going to sacrifice, we're going to aggressively attack and hope that he messes up. So I take here to bring this king out, and then I play knight g5. This is known as the Greek gift. Now, remember, in the game, this is losing. In the actual position, he was winning, and I was just like, this is a bad position for me. But then he messed up, and he moved his king back. Apparently, he was supposed to bring his king out into the open because it's safer in this situation, which is bizarre. I played this. He tried to block, but then I took to remove his defender of this square because this would be checkmate, and then eventually I won. I won it back, and I was like, wow, how did that happen? It was crazy. Like, I messed up so bad in the beginning, and I forgot everything I should have known, but then I won anyway. I was like, wow, that's crazy. That was bad. It was a bad game. So we played 2 games. No, it was Jack who I played, where we played 2 games. The second one I thought wasn't going to be a league game, but we counted it anyway. And I won both of those. So I was like, all right. Like, you want to count it? I'm fine with that. We didn't officially say that. We didn't explicitly say that. So I was like, if you don't want to count it, because we didn't agree to it verbally. To close out the day, I played against Anthony again. Because we wanted people to rotate, or people wanted to rotate something. People rotated, and we swapped out people. And I remember going into the game, I'm like, okay, he's gonna play it this way. He's gonna play an advanced Caro-Kann. We're gonna develop. He's gonna push one of his kingside pawns to attack my knight, and he's gonna attack me on the kingside. Like, so let me focus up. Let me hunker down, focus up, and like beat him this time, because I'm confident I can win against him, and I did, and I have before. Except at the previous time we played, so I was like, nah, I can beat him. Like, I know I can beat him. Let me beat him. And we got into, again, I'm gonna like start making moves here on the board that you can't see. Let's flip this because I was playing black. He surprised me, but it was a good surprise for me because he played knight f3. And I was surprised because usually, or the last time we played, he went here and went like this. Right? Relatively locked center, like it's hard for me to do much. But, he had success the last time we played doing it this way. So I was ready for this. I was like, okay, I've learned what I did wrong. I've improved myself. But when we played, he went here, and then he went knight there, and I thought, that's strange. Why are you changing up what worked for you last time? Okay. And then we exchanged, and I was like, really? You don't want to play the way you did before, where you won, and it was a tense game, and blah blah blah. But I was like, okay, fine. If you want to play it this way, fine by me. So eventually, we just kept developing. I think we went here, castle, there, or no. Then he surprised me again, and he played b3, and I'm like, that's not a typical move in this opening, right? Because usually your bishop wants to pin my knight to my queen, but instead you're taking this long diagonal, which makes sense, but I didn't believe it. So we played some more moves. I went here. He eventually played something like this, here, castle, rook e1. And then there was some sequence of moves that I'm like kind of forgetting. Okay, yeah, here. So we ended up at this position, and here I remember this moment very well. We talked about it after the game. I played knight b4, and I was looking at it, I'm like, this looks pretty good because I'm threatening to fork the two rooks, right? Double attack. If he tries to kick my knight out, obviously I have the fork, so I'm going to be up in exchange. If he plays c3 to not lose the pawn in the process, and to defend here, right? Because now I could, because now if I try to go in, my rook doesn't defend and he takes it. If he goes c3, I take this pawn instead, and then he has to play like rook back, or maybe he'll play like, rook here. In which case I come back and I'm fine. I'm like, okay, I'm up a pawn, great. And then I saw the move rook, just hide your rook away. I mean, I can still come in here, and if you want to do it this way, I am fine if you want to trade. And I'm still threatening this pawn. So I was like, okay, great. And then he played what did he play? He played this, which doesn't prevent this fork, this double attack. So I went for it. He went here, I took, I think he took right away, and I played bishop b4 to pin the knight to this queen. I was up in exchange. He ruined my pawn structure a little bit, but I still am ahead, and I just need to convert the end game by winning some of the pawns and trying to push my own pawns, or checkmate, but checkmate's kind of hard. And then he just totally hallucinated that he could sack his bishop, and he played it. And we were talking after the game. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just totally hallucinated and thought I had a bishop sacrifice for something here, and then he just didn't." I think his queen was actually over here, or maybe I don't know. But he had no follow up, and I looked at it when he took like this, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't see a follow up here. There's nothing here. I was like, huh? So I took, and then after I took, he was like, wait, oh. He was like, wow, I really messed up, and then he resigned the game, and he was like, that's over. No, I'm done. So that was kind of funny. He just didn't. He totally hallucinated at the end, which, it happens to the best of us. We all, again, like I keep saying, we all miss things when we play over the board, and it's not easy to. Chess is hard. Chess is a fucking hard game. But yeah, it was a good day overall. That was the last game I played for that day. That was also a league game as well. So I don't know how the standings are right now. Maybe I'll ask them, because I'm still a little fuzzy on how it works. I'm just here to play. But yeah, so I think the craziest thing about that day, I think I won every game I played there, both in casual games and in the league games. Like, I think I won every game I played when I was there on Saturday, which is a shocking thing to say. Like, I don't even believe it myself. I'm like, did I not lose a game that day? Like, surely I would have lost something. A game. But I don't think I did. And that's a huge confidence boost, right? Because I know I can beat these people. Now, granted, that was a small subset of games. It was probably like 10 games in total among 3 people. But it feels really good to know that you can, actually play this game and not just lose pieces left and right. I feel really good about playing. Like, I think something I realized when I was on the way home was I wasn't nervous, like, at all. When I was playing those games, I was just focused. I was in the zone. I was like the games against Jack, for example, where I was losing. I was in a bad position. I was behind. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't like scared or anything. I was tense in the sense where it's like, okay, I need to figure something out. Like, I don't want to lose. Oh, okay, let's figure something out. But it didn't like. It wasn't like a nervous spiral where it's just like, oh my god, I'm losing. What do I do? This is so bad. I hate chess. This and that. Blah blah blah. Like, I wish I did blah blah. And it's like that didn't happen. And maybe it's because I was winning most of my games, if not all of my games. But even when I was in a losing position, and I knew I was in a losing position, I was like, okay, where's my counterplay? And I think that just comes from playing so many competitive games in my life. Not at a high level or anything, but just putting myself in a position where you need to perform. You need to beat people. All right? You're in a tournament. Well, to put it simply, you're in a tournament. You're trying to win. Fucking win, damn it. Like, play your game and stop messing up. I think skill-wise, I am very good relative to the other people. Granted, there was only 3 other people playing that event on Saturday rather than like the 6 or 7. So we'll see how I do against the other people. But the biggest takeaway for me was I know what to practice now. It's a very interesting thing with chess where if you know who you're playing against, you can practice against what you know they're going to play. And we're not grandmasters where we can play like 50 million different things. Like, people around our skill level stick to like 2 things at most. Maybe 3 if they're kind of just like messing around and want to, like mess around and try something different for fun. But I know what to study now, and it's really motivating where I know what to practice against. That's my week 1 report for this thing. It's not supposed to be a report, but I'm making it a report, I guess. I'm excited for Tuesday. I'm hoping to see some of the people I saw last Tuesday, because a lot of them didn't show up today, or yesterday, Saturday, which was kind of lame. But yeah, I know what to study against the people that were there. Against the people that weren't there, we're gonna have to figure it out and rely on my existing knowledge to try to beat them. So, all right, thanks for watching the YouTube void.